Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Lauren here from Acting Classes in Perth. This is episode number 38 of the Acting Classes in Perth Your Questions Answered daily show. The show where I'm here to answer all your acting related questions at 7 p.m. every single day here on Facebook Live and also YouTube Live simultaneously. Alrighty, now today's question comes in from Lauren, but before we get to that, if you are watching us now, please give us a big thumbs up, like this video, or feel free to throw in a comment, or if you want to ask a question, you're more than welcome to do that. If you don't know what to say, just simply say hello, and I would love to know that you're out there watching us now. Ladies and gentlemen, the episode today focuses around a very, very important question that's come in from Lauren.
If I have 15 minutes to prepare for a character, what are the key things that I should do?
Lauren, thank you so much for an excellent question. Now, if you're only given 15 minutes to prepare a character, I'd probably assume most likely it's just one of two different scenarios. So one is that you've just been given a script, you've got about 15 minutes before you go in for an audition. Or the other side to that is you have been given a small role on a project, you've rocked up and they've given you the script and or the character, and you've only got about 15 minutes before you go on. And that's not common for, a feature film where you're playing a lead character, or even a short film or a TV show when you're playing a lead character or a supporting role. But maybe if you just have a bit of a day player role, maybe just one small role, where you have to be a waiter in a cafe and you have just a few lines, well, then it's realistic that you may have a very short period of time in which you have to quickly develop a character and get your lines down. So when it comes to that scenario, or the scenario of getting an audition piece, kind of getting 15 minutes notice and then having to go on, what I would suggest is identifying the following. Number one is I want you to go through the script and just take a few minutes to look at what are the facts of the story that jump out to you and how do they relate to the character that's playing within that story. Okay, and essentially the character that you're playing and any of the other periphery characters that are around your character as well, because based off this I might be assuming your character is not the lead, but if it is the lead character in the script or in this scene, then that's fine as well. Everything here will apply to that as well. Now then what I want you to do is kind of take a step back where you jump back to year 3, because I think when you have to have a lot of information produced in a short period of time, it's something you learn in year 3 that is going to be a key player here, and that is the who, what, when, where, whys, and the hows of any situation. So I want you to very quickly go through the script, make some notes if you can. Always remember, take a pen or a pencil with you to an audition, to on set, to everywhere, right? Have a pen or pencil. We kind of live these days in a digital kind of world, right? We've got our phones, and that's great. But I also encourage you to have a pen or a pencil with you where you can just kind of jot down, quick notes on the side of a script, because that's going to, I think, help you going into that space. And if it's an audition, by all means, especially if you've only been given 15 minutes to prepare, it is okay for you to reference those notes that you have, that you've prepared there in that moment and on the fly. So it's just a heck of a lot easier, I think, than kind of whipping out a smartphone and tapping away. I think, bang, just write a few quick notes down on the side of the page. And those notes are going to be relative to the facts of the story, the characters in the story, and like I said, the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows of that story, or at least of that scene. Then if you have time, what I want you to do is I want you to look at objective and intent. Objective and intent for both your character and, if you have time, for you as an actor as well. Now, if you've done a class with us, which I know you have, Lauren, you will have already explored objective and intent. That's a whole other area, and we might actually look at that in an actual episode here where I break down in quite a bit of detail objective and intent. But very quickly, what is your character's objective? Meaning, what do they want from the other character or characters in that scene? And then what is your character's intent or intention? How are they going to go about achieving their objective? Then I also want you to consider your acting objective and intent, right? So what is it that you as an actor want from the audience? In this case, it could be the director, it could be the casting director, or the audience itself if you are actually going in to have something filmed or stepping on stage. What is your acting objective? What is it that you want from the director, the audience, the casting director? And then what is your acting intent or intention? How are you going to try to reach your acting objective? If you have any spare time within all this, Lauren, and also anyone out there watching, what I would suggest is you also try to then explore maybe 2 or 3 versions of the character that you're exploring and that's on the page, right? It's going to give you choices and options, and choices and options for an actor are key. You don't always just lock down the first thing that comes into your mind or that jumps off the page. You need to, I guess you'd say, look at the different potential styles or ways or characters that you could play given that script. So if you can, Lauren, if you have time, try to consider doing 2 or 3 versions of that character, so that when you go into that space and you go into the director or the casting director and you can say, hey, look, these are the choices I've got. I've got a character that's very kind of passive. I've got a character that's aggressive. I've got a character that is, running late and is very time sensitive. I've got a character who's got all the time in the world. So if you have some slight variance in your characters, then basically it looks very impressive because, hey, you've only had 15 minutes, but you haven't just prepared one character, you've prepared different versions, and that will greatly increase the chances of you getting a callback or getting a role if it is an audition. If it is a on-set experience, well, it's just going to make the director's job a heck of a lot easier when you're able to bring a few different ideas to the table, which in turn, hey, when you make someone else's life easier, they are heck of a lot more inclined to hire you again in the future. So bear that in mind. Lauren, this was an absolutely amazing question. Thank you so much for sending it in. If you liked Lauren's question, please click the share button right now and help out your fellow actor. If you're watching this on Facebook, be sure to like and follow our page. And if you're watching us here on YouTube, click the subscribe button, but then be sure to hit the notifications bell to ensure that you stay updated with all our videos as they come out, when they come out. Sorry, I had to have a moment there. If you are listening to us on iTunes, simply click subscribe and we will stay connected with you as well. Now, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm going to see you again tomorrow at 7 p.m. for another awesome question answered by me. I'm Lauren. This is Acting Classes in Perth. You're watching The Daily Show. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock for another live session. Until then, stay safe and, like always, happy acting.